Golden Bachelorette Chock Chapple's hometown date was a first in Bachelor history. October 25, 2024. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Bachelor Nation News. The Golden Bachelorette star, Joan Vassos, went on 4 dates during her hometown's episode. During her visits to Guy Gansert, Pascal Evie, Jordan Heller, and Chock Chapple's homes, she took in new sights and met many family members. But her date with Chock Chapple made Bachelor Nation history as a first for hometowns. Joan Vassos gets confirmation. On Wednesday, Joan Vassos went to all 4 of her final suitors' homes. She met many of their friends and family members. But one of the most important factors for Joan at this stage was to have confirmation that the men who moved forward could see a future with her. While she knew Guy Gansert and Chock Chapple's hearts were ready to accept her as a wife, she was unsure about Jordan Heller and Pascal Evie. Although Chock was hesitant to tell her he loved her, he chose to give her the reassurance she was craving. Admittedly, he let his feelings out saying, "I'm falling in love with you." He knew he was risking a lot to wear his heart on his sleeve. She said, "Chock didn't hold back, he's all in." However, Chock's date made Bachelor Nation's history by taking Joan on a first for any of their series. Chock Chapple's hometown date was a first in Bachelor history. During the episode, the Golden Bachelorette showed Joan Vassos joining Chock Chapple in Wichita, KS. Undeniably, Chock is going through a difficult time in his life. While the filming was full of fun and laughs, unfortunately, there were many tears as well. Joan shared with her suitors she wasn't sure she was ready to move on. But suitors like Chock were open and honest about their struggles with grief and helped her understand the journey was worth opening her heart. Sadly, Chock shared about losing his fiancée, Kathy, to brain cancer. Then, during the filming, Chock's mother, Dr. Jill Cobb, also lost her battle with stage 4 cancer. Undoubtedly, it was extremely hard for him because he had talked about how special he was and how much he wanted Joan to meet her. Although it was heartbreaking for him to leave, he chose to return knowing there was a great connection with Joan. When she arrived in Wichita, Chock let her know they would be attending a memorial service for his mother. This was an unusual choice and something that has never happened in Bachelor Nation's history. But Chock wants to share the event with Joan because it is something very important to him. Likewise, it gave her a chance to know more about that piece of his heart. Chock Chapple's date was important for him to share. Undeniably nerve-wracking, Joan Vassos attended a friend and family-filled event that was very close to Chock Chapple's heart. Unmistakably, Chock was so proud of his mother and had planned for Joan to meet her. However, with her untimely passing, that wasn't an option. But sharing the joy and sorrow of the memorial service gave Joan a better understanding of the wonderful woman that Chock looked up to. Likewise, it was a deep expression of acceptance of Joan to invite her to attend when the family was vulnerable and mourning. Among the outpouring of love were Chock's 2 kids, his father, and the father of his late fiancée, Kathy. During the memorial, the family planted a tree in her honor, and they spoke touching words about her legacy. Although not the conventional date, Chock wanted Joan to be beside him even in the dark hours. This experience let Joan know how much she was valued by Chock and accepted by his family. Admittedly, he began to cry during the end of the service and embraced Joan, who he says is his rock during the tragic time. Since Joan lived her worst nightmare watching Joan Vassos die, this is a reminder of strength in a partner during difficult times. Chock Chapple included Joan for a life-defining moment. Unmistakably, Chock Chapple's date wasn't the traditional romantic date followed by meeting family. Instead, she was bombarded with seeing all of the most important people in Chock's life at once. Furthermore, Joan mentions how overwhelming it was to meet so many people at the same time. Likewise, it was an emotionally charged time for the family. Some fans think it was a creepy date or even a snooze fest, but Chock's heart seems to be in the right place. For people who have survived grief, Allowing someone to be present in those unpleasant moments is an act of trust. Joan understood it was a gift to be included with him and his family for such a life-defining moment. When Joan was wondering which of her suitors was ready to take the next steps, she had no question that Chock was being vulnerable with her. Likewise, Chock's family sees Joan bring out a different side of him. While Chock struggles to say he is in love, his actions show how much he cares for her. Time will tell how the fantasy suites go and who Joan chooses, but she has Chock's heart. What do you think about Chock Chapple taking Joan Vassos to his mother's memorial service? Do you think it was a good choice for a hometown date? Are you enjoying the Golden Bachelorette? Do you think Joan will choose Chock? Drop your comments below, where we bring you all the latest on the Golden Bachelorette. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about hometown dates in Bachelor Nation history. Joan Vassos recently visited her final 4 suitors' hometowns, but her date with Chock Chapple left fans speechless for its rawness and honesty. Stick around as we break down all the details of this powerful, historic date. Joan Vassos' hometown visits. Briefly introduce the hometown date concept and its importance. Recap Joan's dates with the final 4 suitors: Guy Gansert, Pascal Evier, Jordan Heller, and Chock Chapple. Highlight Joan's goals for these visits, focusing on her need for reassurance about each man's commitment. Chock Chapple's unique date, setting the stage. Explain why Chock's hometown date made Bachelor Nation history. Describe how, instead of the typical family gathering, Joan was invited to attend a memorial for Chock's mother, Dr. Jill Cobb. Provide context on Chock's grief, his fiancé's loss to brain cancer, and the recent passing of his mother. Emphasize the emotional depth and vulnerability this setting brought to their relationship. The memorial service, a personal and emotional tribute. Describe the memorial service atmosphere, explaining how Joan was able to meet Chock's family and see a personal side of him few would share so openly. Highlight the significance of including Joan in such an intimate moment, showing Chock's deep level of trust in her. Discuss the symbolic tree planting ceremony in honor of Chock's mother, emphasizing the gravity of the moment and the impact on Joan. Joan's emotional response. Dive into Joan's response to the day, acknowledging how difficult it was for her as well. Relate it to her own experience of losing her husband, John Vassos. Describe how Joan expressed gratitude and admiration for Chock's honesty and his family's openness, noting how this experience deepened her connection to him. Fan reactions, mixed opinions on an unconventional date. Share fan reactions from social media, Reddit, and Bachelor Nation forums, noting the mixed responses. Discuss critiques, with some fans calling the date creepy or inappropriate, while others appreciated Chock's genuine vulnerability. Provide commentary on the importance of addressing grief and the openness Chock demonstrated, positioning this as a unique angle that sparks conversation about how reality TV can tackle real-life issues. Chock's life-defining moment and Joan's understanding. Highlight how Chock described the date as a life-defining moment, seeing Joan's support as invaluable. Discuss how, in sharing his family's sorrow, Chock also shared a glimpse into the resilience and strength he values. Note Joan's appreciation for the level of trust and honesty Chock displayed, feeling that this transparency could build a solid foundation for a future together. Joan's connection with Chock's family. Touch on Joan's interactions with Chock's children, father, and family friends, noting how they observed Chock's softer, vulnerable side when with Joan. Emphasize the significance of Joan's acceptance by Chock's family, acknowledging her role in this moment and the unique circumstances. Fan speculation. Will Joan choose Chock? Share current fan theories about whether Chock's openness and authenticity have given him an edge in Joan's decision-making. Discuss the implications for the next steps, including the upcoming fantasy suite dates and how Joan might weigh Chock's openness against her connections with the other suitors. Concluding thoughts and invitation to comment. Wrap up with a recap of the key points and invite viewers to share their thoughts. Ask engaging questions. Do you think this was the right setting for a hometown date? And is Chock's openness a game changer for Joan? Outro. Thanks so much for watching. If you're loving the Golden Bachelorette as much as we are, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our next update. See you next time on Bachelor Nation News.